Hare Krishna. Is anyone on the call? Hare Krishna. Leela Manjari Mataji, are you on the call? Prema Rasa, is anybody on the call? Hare Krishna. Well, I'm going to hold it. I'm going to mute, and I'll wait till somebody gets on before we start.
Hare Krishna. I just got back from a walk. I just
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Ganga Mataji. Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. I'm pretty upset. I just got off the phone.
Oh, what?
My uncle down there, they're taking him away in an ambulance. We don't know if he's dying or what's going on. So I'm just, a little bit upset. More than a little bit. He's my favorite uncle.
Yeah.
And I'm just real he hasn't eaten anything substantial for a month. He's been eating something, but of what we don't know. He hasn't in several days he hasn't eaten. So we're just really kind of heartbroken over it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
He's my sweet uncle. And I just, at least I told him I loved him before they took him in the ambulance. They just took him away in an ambulance about five minutes ago. So I'm just going to say some prayers for him.
Yeah.
That if it's his time, that the Lord take him gently. But I remember him saying he was in the chair and in Chicago here when I last saw him. And he said, I said, Uncle Mario, you're going to need to go to the nursing home, whether you're in Chicago or in Mississippi. He says, I'm not going to any nursing home. And I have a funny feeling he's refusing to eat. He doesn't want to live anymore.
Yeah, right.
That's what I think. They think he's hallucinating, but I don't think he wants to live anymore. He doesn't want to eat or drink, either way. So he's willing himself to die. I don't know. Or he's asking the Lord to take him. I just don't know which it is. But anyway, I'm not going to go on and on. I'm real upset. And it's funny. I felt something weird this morning. I was feeling very down, and I couldn't understand why I felt so down. And then I just get this call from Tina, and she said, Uncle Mario's in bad shape. And they put the phone to his ear, and he was like in somewhere else. It didn't even sound like him anymore. Anyway, so I'm kind of upset about that, but I don't know what verses I'm reading today, Mataji. Do you have any idea?
Yeah, hold on one second. I'm not even. I just got on the computer.
That's okay. And thank you for sending that link this morning to the class. But the thing was, I was doing errands all day today.
Oh,
so I was unable to participate. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so database. Here we go. I'm sorry. I was taking a walk.
Wasn't it 40 or 41? I don't remember where Prema Rasa ended. I think at 40.
37 to 39. Well, no, she actually didn't. Wait, we're on 4. She didn't show up, and actually, if I can look on the text. She was on WhatsApp. Srimad Bhagavatam yesterday. 37 to 39. And it was just myself and Mohini Mataji.
Okay.
And I asked her if she wanted to read. She said no, so I read. And then I just talked a few minutes. I don't know, 15, 20 minutes.
So you did 37 through 39.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so I'm going to be doing what, 40 through, I don't know what.
I don't know. Do you want me to
Oh,
look?
I'm going to
I
have
can
to,
look on the email.
if you want, or I'll have to go back to the computer and find it.
Okay, I can look
If
at
you're near the
Gmail. I'll have
computer,
to
fine.
search. No, I'm doing it on my phone. Search Schumann Bhagavatam class.
Oh, gosh.
Lynn. Okay, Lynn. Here we go. Thursday, 40 to 43.
Okay.
Want me to say
40 to
prayer first?
43.
Did you
Yes,
want to say
oh,
prayer for?
definitely.
You want to say prayer first for your uncle?
No, I'll pray later. It's okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I just got all worked up, because they just called me, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Om Jnana Timirandasya Ganananjana Shalakaya Shakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Narayanam Namaskritya, Naram Chaiva Narottamam, Devim Saraswatim Vyasam, Tato Jayam Udirayet, Nashta Prayashu Abhadreshu, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Okay, then today's Mataji, or Matajis, if anyone else has joined, it'll be text 40 through 43 in Canto 4, Chapter 6. Okay, I'm reclined, so my voice might sound a little weird, but my back is killing me, so I have to rest it. Okay. Satupalab Yagatam Atma Yonin Surasuresher Abhivanditangri Utaya Chakre Shiras Sabhavinandanam Arhat Tama Kasya Yateva Vishnu. Translations and purports by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Lord Shiva's lotus feet were worshipped by both the demigods and demons. But still, in spite of his exalted position, as soon as he saw that Lord Brahma was there among all the other demigods, he immediately stood up and offered him respect by bowing down and touching his lotus feet, just as Vamanadev offered his respectful obeisances to Kasyapa Muni. Purport: Kasyapa Muni was in the category of the living entities, but he had a transcendental son, Vamanadev, who was an incarnation of Vishnu. Thus, although Lord Vishnu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he offered his respects to Kasyapa Muni. Similarly, when Lord Krishna was a child, he used to offer his respectful obeisances to his mother and father, Nanda and Yashoda. Also, at the Battle of Kurukshetra, Lord Krishna touched the feet of Maharaj Yudhisthira because the king was his elder. It appears then that the personality of Godhead, Lord Shiva, and other devotees, in spite of their being situated in exalted positions, instructed by practical example how to offer obeisances to their superiors. Lord Shiva offered his respectful obeisances to Brahma because Brahma was his father, just as Kasyapa Muni was the father of Vamana. Text 41. Would anyone else care to read? I don't want to take over the reading. Manasaganga, would you care to read 41, maybe? Are you there, Manasaganga Mataji?
Sorry, I was reading to a muted phone. I do that all the time.
Okay.
I wonder why people don't listen to me when I'm on the phone half the time. Okay. Tata pare sita gana mahir sibir yavai saman tad anu nila lohitam namaskrita praha sasanka sekaram krita prananam krita pranamam prahansan ivat mabahu. Translation. All the sages who were sitting with Lord Shiva, such as Narada and others, also offered their respectful obeisances to Lord Brahma. After being so worshipped, Lord Brahma, smiling, began to speak to Lord Shiva. Purport. Lord Brahma was smiling because he knew that Lord Shiva is not only easily satisfied, but easily irritated as well. He was afraid that Lord Shiva might be in an angry mood because he had lost his wife and had been insulted by Daksha. In order to conceal this fear, he smiled and addressed the Lord Shiva as follows.
Wow. Okay. Brahmo vacha janetavamisham vishvasya jagato joni bijayoho shakte shivasya chaparam yatad brahma nirantaram. Okay. Translation. Lord Brahma said, "My dear Lord Shiva, I know you are the controller of the entire material manifestation, the combination father and mother of the cosmic manifestation, and the supreme Brahman beyond the cosmic manifestation as well. I know you in that way." Purport. Although Lord Brahma had received very respectful obeisances from Lord Shiva, he knew that Lord Shiva was in a more exalted position than himself. Lord Shiva's position is described in Brahma Samhita. There is no difference between Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva in their original positions. But still, Lord Shiva is different from Lord Vishnu. The example is given that the milk in yogurt is not different from the original milk from which it was made. Should I finish it up, or did someone else join the call that might like to read?
Let's see. Yeah, Rohini is on, and then now we have, Rohini maybe. It's
Okay.
4 of us.
There's another person besides Rohini. Is it Linda Mataji, or is it Ruchi Mataji?
It says Manasi Ganga, Katiravan Krish something. That's the host, which is Leela Manjari. Then it's you, 4247, and then Rohini Dasi.
Okay. Well, I'll finish it off. It's not that much reading today. Text 43. Svam eva Bhagavan etach chiva shakto shakt yoho sarupayo vishvam shrijasi pasyatsi kridan urna patoyata. A translation. My dear Lord, you create this cosmic manifestation, maintain it, and annihilate it by expansion of your personality, exactly as a spider creates, maintains, and winds up its web. Purport. In this verse, the word Shiva Shakti is significant. Shiva means auspicious, and Shakti means energy. There are many types of energies of the Supreme Lord, and all of them are auspicious. Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshvara are called guna avatars, or incarnations of material qualities. In the material world, we compare these different incarnations from different angles of vision. But since all of them are expansions of the Supreme Auspicious, all of them are auspicious, although sometimes we consider one quality of nature to be higher or lower than another. The mode of ignorance, or tamoguna, is considered very much lower than the others, but in the higher sense, it is also auspicious. The example may be given herein that the government both has an educational department and criminal department. An outsider may consider the criminal department inauspicious, but from the government's point of view, it is as important as the education department, and therefore the government finances both departments equally without discrimination. Okay, so let me go back to text 40. Now, it says in the translation that Lord Shiva's feet were worshipped by both demigods and demons. And we know that Lord Shiva's position, even though he's exalted, he is he mixes with a lot of different types of jivas, okay, and sometimes mixes even with demons. And so in that sense, then not only demigods but demons also worship Lord Shiva. And he has such an exalted position. Now, even though he was very exalted, and we know this from all the previous readings we've done about him, and the things that happened with Daksha and everything else, as soon as Lord Brahma appeared, okay, along with other demigods, Lord Shiva immediately stood up and he offered respect, okay? And it says, just as Vamanadev offered his respectful obeisances to Kashyapa Muni. So Kashyapa Muni was not in the same category as his son Vamanadev. Okay, he was considered a living entity, but he had a transcendental son, Vamanadev. And Vamanadev was an incarnation of Vishnu. So even though Lord Vishnu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he offered his respects to Kashyapa Muni, and the same thing happened here. Also, Prabhupada is giving other examples. He said when Lord Krishna was a child, he offered his respects to both his mother and his father, Nanda and Yashoda. And at the Battle of Kurukshetra, Krishna touched the feet of Maharaj Yudhisthira. And even though, because the king was his elder at that time, so even if the Lord Krishna, Lord Shiva, and others are in exalted positions, they instruct us. They instruct all of us who are reading this, all the jivas, by showing by example how to offer obeisances to their superiors. Okay, and Lord Shiva, this is very good. Lord Shiva offered respects to Brahma because Brahma was his father, even though Lord Shiva was more exalted. And Kashyapa Muni was the father of Vamana, although Kashyapa Muni was a living entity. He was not in the category of a transcendental, whatever, a transcendentalist. Although Vamana Dev, his son, was an incarnation of Vishnu. So it's important, for as far as I'm concerned, when we read this text 40, that we learn from these exalted personalities how to pay our respectful obeisances to our superiors, even if we would find ourselves, which I don't, but even if I was in a more exalted position than someone else, if that person is my superior or older than me, or my father, or my teacher, or my spiritual master, or one of the great Vaishnavas at the temple, in a position of authority, it is through the example of these exalted devotees that we see that, it doesn't matter. We should respect them and offer our obeisances to our superiors. Even Lord Krishna, who is the most, he is the supreme personality of Godhead, when he comes down and becomes the son of Nanda and Yashoda, he offers his respectful obeisances to his mother and father, and he respects them because they're his mother and father. And similarly, Lord Shiva's father is Lord Brahma, so he offers his respectful obeisances unto him. So I'm seeing how important it is, no matter how exalted a person is, that one should respect their elders. This is Vaishnav etiquette. And for instance, I remember the person who brought me to Krishna consciousness, I think it was Karunya Rasa. She just loves Radhanath Swami. And she said whenever she would see him, she said one time she saw him in the temple. This is before he got onto the Vyasasan to give class. She bowed. As soon as she saw him, she got down on the floor and paid her respectful obeisances to him. And do you know that he did the same to her? Although she was not, anywhere near, she was not a spiritual master, and she was not in an exalted position. As a Vaishnava, he got down on his hands and knees and paid his respectful obeisances to her. I thought that was the most beautiful example of humility I have ever seen. Beautiful. So that's what I have to say about text 40. Let me just do the others and then, open it up for comments. Okay, so everyone who was sitting with Lord Shiva, Narada Muni, all the others offered their respectful obeisances to Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma started to speak to Lord Shiva. Of course, he's the father of Lord Shiva. So he knew his son quite well. He knew his personality. He knew that he would be easily satisfied and easily irritated as well. So he has a very fiery temperament, and also he's very merciful. And, if you were to perform some type of austerity or ask for forgiveness from Lord Shiva, he would be easily satisfied. But he gets irritated as well, like as we know with the incident of Daksha. And Lord Brahma was afraid that Lord Shiva might be in an angry mood. Why? Because of the insults of Daksha, and also because he had just lost his wife who committed suicide. uh, Mother Sita. Siti, no, it's Sati. I'm sorry, Sati. So I got really bad with some of the, remembering all the names properly. Sati. So he wanted to conceal that fear that he had. So he started to address Lord Shiva, and he says, "My dear Lord Shiva." He's like putting him in an exalted position. He says, "I know you're the controller of the entire material manifestation. You're the mother and father, the combination of the cosmic manifestation and the supreme Brahman, beyond the cosmic manifestation as well." And so it does point out, Prabhupada points out in text 42 that Lord Brahman knew, even though he paid such respectful obeisances to Lord Shiva, he knew that Lord Shiva, wait, did I say that right? No, Lord Shiva totally screwed that up. Lord Shiva paid his respectful obeisances to his father, Lord Brahma. And he knew, even though he was receiving these beautiful obeisances from his son, he knew his son was in a more exalted position than himself. And then the Brahma Samhita describes Lord Shiva's position. It says there is no difference between Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva in their original positions. But still, Lord Shiva is different from Lord Vishnu. And then Prabhupada gives an example. So both Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva, and from their source, they are both in the same position. There's no difference between the two, coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so, but, in these manifestations, they're still different. They come across differently. Lord Shiva even presents himself physically differently from Lord Vishnu, although in their original positions, there's no difference between the two. And so Prabhupada is giving this example of when the yogurt is made, the milk that made it, it's not any, the milk in the yogurt is no different from the original milk. Okay, so milk and yogurt are basically in their original position as milk. They're exactly the same, but they manifest differently once we have mixed up the milk, and heated it and done all the processes. It looks different, tastes a little different, but it is in its origin the same as milk. And I think that's basically what we're saying here in text 42. And then the last text, it says that the Lord, my dear Lord, it's not in capitals, so I'm wondering if it's Lord Brahma talking to his son. Could it be? Let me get back in here.
That's what I understand, yeah.
Yeah. So I think Lord Brahma is speaking to his son, and he says, look, you create them, cosmic manifestation, you maintain it, you annihilate it. And then and then it says, exactly as a spider creates, maintains, and winds up its web. So in the purport, Prabhupada explains that Shiva means auspicious and Shakti means energy. So there are so many different types of energies of the Lord. Every one of them are auspicious. Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshvara, they're called guna avatars or incarnations. And we compare these different incarnations from different angles of vision. But since they're all coming from the supreme auspicious personality of Godhead, they're all auspicious, although we might consider one higher or lower, and in the material world, okay? So even the mode of ignorance can be considered much lower than the others, but in the higher sense, it's auspicious. So Prabhupada gives this analogy of the government has maybe auspicious, what a materialist might look at as both auspicious and inauspicious departments, but they're both necessary. There's an educational department, there's a criminal department, and one might say, well, this criminal department is not auspicious. This is, low. But from the government's point of view, he needs both. The government needs both the educational department as well as the criminal department to function properly. So the government would look at these, or it says here that the government finances both departments equally and does not discriminate. So in that way, we can look at we can take these three, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshvara, etc., in their original, originally, they're all the same. They're without discrimination. They're the same. There's no difference in their original positions. However, once they've manifested or incarnated in the material world, then we start to compare them. People compare them from different angles of vision. But we have to remember that all of them are auspicious because they're coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And even if one seems to be more in the mode of goodness than the other, we have to consider that they're looked at without discrimination because they're necessary. Okay, so I think that's kind of what I got out of the reading. Manasi Ganga Mataji, or if anybody else has joined and would care to comment, correct me, or add to this, I'd be most happy. Hare Krishna.
Shanti is now on. Shanti, did you want to speak? Dear Shanta, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories, Guru Maharaj and Sri
Oh, glories.
Because I joined late, Mataji, so I'm just gonna listen and I'm driving. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Dita Shanta, for joining. It's so nice to hear you.
So nice to be here too, Mataji.
We've missed you in the morning too.
Thank you, Mataji. So do I. Thank you.
Yeah. So Governor Leela, you did an amazing job as always summarizing.
No, Mataji, I make mistakes, but I try when I'm focused. Let's put it this way: when I slept properly and I'm properly focused, I don't mix up the names. But when I'm not focusing, I mix up names a lot. So that happens to me in Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say. I know that. So with regards to the last purport, I think that you had brought out that different government agencies, they're both functioning for the purpose of to keep the people educated, to keep the people law-abiding, etc. So they're both functioning as they're functioning and serving. And so I believe that Srila Prabhupada brought that out for us to understand that, even Lord Shiva, who people may think that it's, the mode of ignorance, they might feel it's like of a lower status. One should understand that that he's serving. He's serving the Lord just as much as Lord Brahma, just as much as Vishnu is. They're all serving the Lord and Lord Krishna and have something to offer. And I think that was the important point. And that's, I'm just thinking about how when we do service for the temple, we do service for Srila Prabhupada or Gurudev, whatever service it is as good as any other. Whether one mops the floor or whether one sits on the vyasam, we're all serving the mission of Lord Chaitanya. And I think that that's important to realize. We all have something to give. It's all from person to person, it's going to be different, but it's accepted by the Lord, just as readily, whether one's mopping the floor, cooking for the deities, or sitting on the Vyasasana or doing kirtan. It's all accepted by the Lord as service to him. What's more important is not the content of the service, but the mood in which one serves. If one is serving for the Lord, for his happiness, to please him, and it's not reserving or doing it with even a competitive attitude. One's doing it for the pleasure of the Lord and is not caught up in things of his mind, his own contamination. Someone who's mopping the floor but is very humble and compared to someone on the Vyasasana who may be proud and not doing it for the Lord's pleasure, but rather for people to look up to him or her. The person that's mopping is going to be, his service is going to be accepted more by the Lord because it's the mood in which we serve that is most important. I mean, service, anything that, the Lord is expansive. He's not something, he's not limited. He's eternal. He's and his Ladini Shakti, all his energies are also unlimited like himself. And so what one should focus on is that, that when one's serving, there's so many services that can be done. The Lord is unlimited, and so is service unlimited. And so it's not important what one does necessarily, but how one does it. And I think that's just pretty much what on a more personal level, what I got out of that last.
Thank you so much.
Putting it into a practical application. Hare Krishna.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Manasi Ganga Mataji. So well said. That's very, very true. And it is the mood within which we perform that service that counts. I kind of cheated and read ahead a little bit and came to find out, it like all of the Varnashram and the different are all different limbs of the Lord. And so they all serve a purpose to the complete whole, as you pointed out. And so I'm not going to get into it fully because that's a whole purport in there. But It does describe that exactly what you're talking about, because we're serving the same purpose. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the service is. If you're asked to, go clean the toilet bowl or, serve the guru, his Mahaprasadam, it's all for the same purpose. And it's to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's absolutely correct and very well said. Thank you. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to add to this reading? I'm just taking a quick look.
No.
Oh, I think that's all I have then for today. If there are no further comments, I think we can end here just for today. And
Just reminds me of the pastime of when they take the Lord out on Rath Yatra, how we've got that example of the king who, very respected king who goes before the Lord and sweeps the pathway for the Lord. How, it doesn't matter what our position is, and that's kind of like, what's being said here as well. Doesn't matter what our position is. We all are servants of the Lord. Yeah.
very nice. Very, very true what you said. Okay. So I guess we can end here. And Manasi Ganga, I don't know yet what day I'm going to get. I was thinking, just real quickly before I get off the phone, I was just thinking maybe you and I can discuss the Sri Shopanishad before class on Tuesdays. I don't know if maybe that's too much in one day.
No, that's not going to work for me. No.
Okay.
It's going to be too much. I think that is there any way the weekend we could do it? Anytime?
Yeah, I suppose, but I can't promise. Like Sunday, see, I have my parents coming over, so we have to entertain them. So it's not going to be easy. And Saturday, I will not be home in the afternoon. We have those classes in the morning with Krishna Book and Srimati Radharani, and then Guru's class in the morning. So it's going to be that. I don't know if maybe Friday might work a little. I'm not positive, but should we see as we go along what seems to be a good time?
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, I just was wondering.
I feel pretty overloaded right now. I feel like I'm just loaded up.
Me too. Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's a lot,
so,
and so we'll do it, but we have to see where we can fit this in. I'm thinking I can say to you that my husband usually takes naps at around 1:30 in the afternoon after he eats lunch, and then that might be a good time. But
so that would have to be a Tuesday or a Thursday.
Tuesdays are not good days for me, not at all. Yeah, because I'm teaching on Tuesday besides going to class at night. It's too much for me.
And we've got the Chaitanya Charitamrita Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So that doesn't work on those 3 days.
It's just it's packed up.
It's packed.
So
I know it's like it's like we have a full schedule.
PhD,
like a college full. Yeah, college full schedule. Yeah.
Exactly. So we'll keep talking about this. I don't think that I've forgotten about it. I just haven't had the opportunity to think of a time when it's going to be really good. I was thinking, okay, maybe on a Thursday, like from 4 to 5 or something. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know yet because I also have to rest a little in between. I definitely need to rest too. And, I was running errands all day today. So it was the one day I had available to just do all that,
Mm-hmm.
So we'll keep
I'm
talking
wondering
about
if
it.
there's other people as well that want to do this. I'm wondering who else is on the call.
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Hare Krishna. Thank you for giving nice class as always.
You always give a nice class yourself. Hare. And Mataji, if you do find someone else to do it, let me know.
Okay.
Okay? All right?
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.